What is a sandwich? What is a burger? Is a sandwich a burger? Today we're exploring these questions. We're gonna make a Greek turkey burger, a crispy eggplant parm spin, and a pineapple spam slider. All three of them might look like burgers, but they ain't. They're super sandwiches. What is a sandwich?
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
So we're gonna make a Greek turkey burger. Is it a burger? It's a burger. It's loaded with all your favorite ingredients from a Greek salad, but in burger form. We've gotta have condiments that work with this turkey burger. How about like a Greek-style yogurt sauce instead of ketchup? Greek yogurt here, the ketchup of the dish, if you will. Feta cheese, one of the oldest cheeses on the planet. Garlic powder here. We're gonna head over to the herb garden where we can get some fresh herbs. Growing an herb garden is a great way to get fresh flavors into whatever you're making because you pay for it once and it's alive. It keeps giving you free flavor. We got parsley, mint, dill. So fresh. We're gonna pick the mint leaves right off of our stem. Let's take our dill, we're just chop it up real fine. Get that garlicky dillness in our yogurt sauce. We've got our mint. I'm gonna take the biggest leaf, wrap the other guys into it, and then just salt, a little pepper. We're gonna mix it up. Oh, baby. I can already taste the Greek turkey burger. Let's make some quick pickled onions. We're gonna put the pan on high heat. Some white vinegar, water, some sugar in there. Vinegar and sugar are the flavors in ketchup, so making our own pickles here are giving us that sweet and sour vibe. A little bit of salt. We'll mix it up. And basically, we just wanna bring that to a boil so everything dissolves, but also so it's warm enough that it can penetrate into the center of our onions, which we're gonna cut right now. All right, we're gonna French the onions. Throw them in, and we're gonna pour the hot liquid over top. They're gonna become both sweet and sour at the same time and bleed even more red color. It looks so pretty. All right, I'm gonna let these chill while I cook my burgers. It ain't a burger without a patty, so let's make our patties. We've got a little bit of parsley and a little bit of our leftover mint here. Just chop that up real fine. Kalamata olives. It's totally gonna bring all kinds of brininess and a ton of flavor to the burgers. Texturally, it works well with meat. Let's get some scallion. Olives, scallion, mint, and parsley. So we've got a ton of flavor right here, brightness, absolute Greek essence. But we gotta have garlic. Greek is like garlic city, so garlic cloves. I think the best way to deal with garlic is by grating it. It's faster, and it just lets this gorgeous flavor melt. Oregano, cumin, salt, and pepper. We've got ground turkey meat going in. It's not often I'm making a burger patty and it smells great before cooking, but that is the case right here. I mean, I can smell the brininess of the olives, the fresh herbs, and the spices. We've got a cast iron pan here. It's the perfect way to cook a burger. It's ripping and roaring once you put a flame under it, which is what we're gonna do right now. Can we stop here? Sure. Can we continue? Absolutely. Feta cheese. It's the Greekest cheese. It doesn't melt like burger cheese. So let's put it inside the burger. That way we get all the brininess and cheesiness without having to deal with crumbly cheese on a burger. So I want everything to be like all together. Is that the essence of burger? Handheld one bite, things aren't flying everywhere? Perhaps, perhaps. So we'll mix that feta right in. Let's cook some burgers. We're gonna put in some olive oil. So take some patty, make a ball, compress it, come around, give it some sidewall, look at the size of your buns, realizing that these are gonna shrink 19%. Put the patty away from you and continue. I can smell that feta cheese just mingling. I'm so tempted to just take a look, to rotate it, to mess with it, to touch it. Resist the urge, kids. Just say no to messing with it. At the very bottom of the patty, where the meat meets the cast iron, you can see a gorgeous dark Maillard reaction. You know what? These are ready to flip. So now we press down on the patties. Just kidding. That would squeeze all the juice out. No, don't press down. I can't even follow my own rules. Unbelievable. Our burgers are done, so let's pull them off, stick them on a plate, and let them rest. We've got to let them rest so that when we bite into them, it's juicy and fantastic. Let's make some burgers. We get our yogurt, feta, herb, and spice sauce, and we slam that right onto the bottom. Throw a patty right on top, fresh tomato, fresh cucumbers, red pickled onions. Oh, this looks super fantastic. It's so colorful and bright. It sure looks like a burger to me. But whatever you call it, at $2.68, it's a bargain. Here we go. Super full of flavor. I mean, the first thing that hits you is all this sharpness. You got it from the olives and the garlic and the feta. Really incredible. Then you got the meatiness to balance it out on top of all that cooling yogurt sauce that we made. You know, sometimes using the same old store-bought ketchup just doesn't cut the mustard. So a great way to take your not a burger to a new level is by making your own ketchup. It's a simple way to be creative with a condiment that's rarely homemade. Step 1, choose your base. Tomatoes are the obvious one, but ketchup can also be made from bananas or grapes or even rhubarb. Add vinegar to give it some tang. It's all about balance. Equal parts vinegar and sugar make it happen. Experiment with apple cider vinegar and brown sugar to create smoother sweet and sour flavors. Or you could go with white vinegar and granulated sugar, and that'll give you a puckery smack in the face. Another opportunity to be creative is with our use of spices. Try your own combinations: garlic, onion, or paprika, chili powder and cumin, or even cinnamon, clove, and allspice. Remember to taste as you go, and use salt. Cook it down to meld the flavors. The ketchup should be thick but viscous. Finally, blend it to make it smooth, because nobody likes chunky ketchup. Transfer to a jar or bottle and put it in the fridge. And if you want catsup instead of ketchup, you can change the way it's spelled in the jar, because they're the same thing. So we're gonna make a crispy eggplant sandwich. This is a derivative of the eggplant parm, which I love so much, but deconstructed so it's less messy. That's gonna be really great when we bite into it because you're not gonna have sauce going everywhere. The jury's still out on the definition of a burger. However, this is delicious and it is between two pieces of bun. So we've got our eggplant here. You really wanna get a big piece of eggplant with a lot of girth because you're gonna, nope, can't use that word. So the eggplant is the star of the dish. You definitely want to get a really, so big eggplant equals good meat to bun ratio size. Obviously, we want all of these to be about the same thickness, but if you go too thick this way, it will be soggy. So I'd say like between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, just enough that it'll cook through when we're frying it, but it doesn't get all oil logged. So there's 4 beautiful meaty patties. We've got a plate here with some paper towels. We're gonna lay out these eggplants and we're gonna hit it with salt, like more than you'd actually want. The purpose right now is to draw out moisture and bitterness. Bitterness is no good, and moisture is the enemy of crispiness. Can't have a crispy eggplant if it ain't crispy. We're gonna let the salt do its work, and we're gonna get to work on our gremolata. Herbs, garlic, salt. These are in a sauce, right? That's what would be in an eggplant parm sauce. But what if we deconstructed it and made it like a green oily sauce? That's what a gremolata is. We've got garlic here. Let's just grate it right onto the board. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hit it with a fair bit of salt. Then we're gonna take our knife and we're gonna windshield wiper across it and try to get the salt to sort of paste up that garlic a little bit. Really nice. Throw that right in. We've got parsley and basil. These are the 2 green herbs that are just essential in so much Italian cooking. So I'm just gonna fold the stems right back into the leaves, chop right through. So it's sort of like a really rustic pesto without cheese. Right into the bowl. Let's get a little lemon zest in there. Salt coming in, pepper coming in. We need an emulsifier to hold it all together. And Dijon mustard is really a perfect way to deal with that, especially if it comes from the package drawer because it's free flavor. Extra virgin olive oil. Salty, fatty, herbaceous. That's gonna be a delicious topping. So we've got our eggplant here, and you can see that the salt has started to like lift the moisture and the bitterness right out of the eggplants. Let's just take a dry paper towel. We're wiping off some of that excess salt, which has now penetrated deep inside the eggplant. So these are looking good. Let's prep them. Cast iron pan with a whole bunch of oil. Let's start getting that hot. We're making a dredging station. We're gonna start with all-purpose flour. We're gonna hit it with some salt and pepper. We will whisk to combine. In the next station, we gotta have egg. This is our binder. This is what holds everything together. We can whisk those up real good. And finally, our breadcrumbs. I'm going with panko here. This is a Japanese bread flake in plain form so that we can flavor it with Parmesan cheese. We're gonna come right in with some Parmesan cheese, you know, because like fried cheese is amazing. Kind of move it around. Otherwise, one of your eggplant is gonna have a ton of cheese and the other's gonna have none. Get your hands set. Wet hand, dry hand. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna take a piece of eggplant with the dry hand. We're gonna go into the flour, gonna flip it over. Basically, try to dry out the surface of the eggplant. This goes right into the egg. We now switch to our wet hand. The wet hand will be the only hand that touches the egg stuff. Give it a little drain, and then you go right into your panko. And now this hand no longer gets to operate here. You can take the dry hand, sprinkle it on top, really get it on there good, and right into the oil. Let's repeat. Flour, flip, in, wet hand, flip it over. Got the breadcrumbs, we got the cheese. I'm gonna go like that right there. Here we go. And I'm gonna flip this over. These cook pretty fast, friends. This one looks gorgeous. We've got a plate here with some paper towel. It's dry. We want a crispy eggplant sandwich. That's the name of the game. That means we've got to pull off that excess oil. You come in, you drain, you put it on the paper towel. You drain, you put it on the paper towel. Paper towel, very nice. So all of our ingredients are ready. It's time to assemble this sandwich. Sandwiches have to have buns. So today we're gonna use a ciabatta bun. It's a nice, sturdy Italian roll. All right, so we got bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. Let's get our eggplant on there. You can see the girth of the eggplant is working really nicely with the size of the bun. Got some sliced mozz, and this is gonna melt and get all ooey gooey right over top. We're about to do a step that makes this a professional sandwich, and that is toast it under the broiler. Keep a watchful eye, this is gonna happen fast. It's ready. These look super fantastic. Let's build them. So instead of a tomato sauce that would make this all soggy, we've got a fresh tomato and a gremolata. All the flavor, none of the sog. This comes to $2.90 a serving, but it looks like $1,000,000. Should we take a bite? I think we should take a bite. The flavors are fantastic. The eggplant is meaty, and that gremolata fresh tomato combo, mwah! This is a beautiful nod to the sandwich that I grew up with, which is the eggplant parm sandwich. But it's nice to change things up. Delicious. I've got more things between buns coming right after this. It's time for a struggle challenge. Let's see what you've got for me today. My kid begged for weeks to have a fast food dinner, and when I finally gave in to his request, he took one bite out of his burger before deciding he didn't want anything to do with it anymore. Now I have a whole combo meal that I don't want to eat myself, but I also don't want to go into the garbage. Is there anything else I can do with it? You mean, can I gourmet your combo meal? Absolutely. Okay, let's see what we've got in the fridge. Fries. I see your son left his one bite right there. And we've got a soda, lemon lime, slightly watered down. All right, so we've got a double patty and bun. We got some tomatoes and onions, a little bit of ketchup here. So we've got to take this combo meal and turn it into something gourmet. All right, here's what I'm thinking. Take that meat, a little bit of the onion, some of the tomato. We'll make a nice little ragu there. Then we'll make some homemade gnocchi with French fries as the potatoes. We better get started. So we're making a meat tomato sauce with hamburger. Olive oil, got our onions coming out here. Chop up our onions. Right into our hot oil. Let's add a little garlic powder, red pepper flake from the packet drawer, some tomato right here. Looks like we got a few more tomatoes right over here. Tomato, looking good. Burger patties here. Basically have to turn these into ground meat. Burger meat going in. Let's throw those tomatoes in. Nice. And we'll just let that simmer down. We'll chop up this bread real quick. Try to make some breadcrumbs. This is complete insanity. We'll just throw this in the pan, get it into the oven. We got milk, we got egg. You're gonna need a little bit of flour. So we gotta chop up these fries so we can make some gnocchi. So potatoes in. I mushed up these potatoes as best I could so that they're like boiled potatoes that are falling apart. Add some flour, mix this around. So normally the potatoes that you boil when you make gnocchi have a lot more moisture in them. Maybe if we add a little bit of milk to this egg also, that'll sort of act as like the more watery replacement. The wets meet the dries. Bring it together. Dump this out You don't want to work it too much because then it gets kind of dense, but you do need it to be together. Cut a piece of the dough off, start making sort of like a snake. Okay, like that. Are they the first French fry gnocchi in history? Potentially. I'm just trying to look for like consistent distance to center the whole way through. But we should still salt the pasta water, and I'll just lower these in. So the gnocchi have a self-timer, which is that they float to the top when they're done. Those gnocchi have floated to the top. That means they're done. Let's combine it with the sauce. Just a little bit of butter. Let's get some fresh herbs. I say basil. That looks pretty good. Come on. Let's check our breadcrumbs out. I'm gonna hit this on high heat right here. Let's get a little oil to fry these up. A little bit of salt, pepper, some onion powder, fresh parsley. All right, we got our breadcrumbs made out of our burger bun. We've got our gnocchi made out of our French fries. And we've got our ragu made out of our hamburger meat. If I could just figure out what to do with those pickles. Problem solved. I don't really love soda. I didn't cook with it. I probably could have cooked with it, or I can combine it with another drink and make a new drink. Let's do that. Let's see if we've got anything in the fridge. Ale! Got some beer. Got some soda. That's a shandy. It's a delicious beverage, 50-50 soda and beer. That was delicious. All right, let's plate this. Get some breadcrumbs on there, a little more basil, and that looks nothing like a cheeseburger and fries. And this still manages to look appetizing. So with all that in mind, I gotta call it a 10. We'll get some gnocchi, we'll get some tomato. This should just taste like a combo meal. I mean, I guess that's what it should taste like. It's delicious. It doesn't really taste like a cheeseburger. It tastes like gnocchi with ragu. I'm gonna say it's a 9 on flavor, 19, 95%. We crushed it. That was really fun. Thank you for this challenge. We're gonna make Spam pineapple sliders. These are absolutely delicious. Just 1 or 2 bites. They're sticky, sweet and sour. They're salty, really easy to make with a lot of pantry items. Are they a burger? Are they a sandwich? This definitely slides somewhere between the two. We're gonna start by making our sauce. So this is just a sticky, sweet sauce. Oil into our pan here. Grate some ginger right into that oil. So the microplane is such a fantastic utensil here because I can grate ginger with the skin on and it literally leaves the skin behind. It's incredible. We got fresh garlic here. We'll do the same thing. We'll just grate that right in. The garlic and ginger combo is so classic. We're gonna put a lot of sweet things in here, so it's important that we cut through. Rice vinegar is our friend. So why did we go with the vinegar first? Because we gotta deglaze this stuff off the bottom of the pan. So we wanna make sure we get all those flavors incorporated into our sauce, and deglazing enables us to do that without having anything stick to the bottom. This is hoisin sauce. It's dark, it's sweet, it's tangy. It tastes like extra sweet plums with like caramel. Some soy sauce. Be careful with the salty things here because Spam is extremely salty. We don't want to season like we're cooking from scratch here. We're gonna add a little bit of ketchup in here, so this gives us more of that sweet and sour thing going. A little bit of honey to add even more sweetness. We're gonna head to the packet drawer. Red pepper flakes for a little heat. Dijon mustard for a little bit of cut through it allness. And I just want to see the smallest little bubbles breaking around the edges here. Because this has so much sugar, it will burn to the bottom really quickly. Yum. So our sticky sauce is totally ready. I'm gonna let it cool. Let's get started on our Spam. Spam is canned ham, and it's a great shelf-stable protein. Let's use the Japanese sushi roll cutting technique. We'll start by cutting the entire thing in half. We can make 2 more divisions, and then 1 and 2. And we're gonna go right in half so that we have 12 perfect Spam squares. It's pretty apparent that these are gonna be 1 or 2 bite sliders. That's okay, you're allowed to have more than one. Let's get our pan on some heat here. Let's get a little oil in the pan. All right, we're gonna sear our Spam so that we get even more flavor. Throw them away from us. We've got our sticky sauce here. We're just gonna paint this right on. We're doing this so that when we flip it over, our tangy sauce is gonna get caramelized and almost become like borderline candy. I love it. Now we can paint this side with the sauce. One side of the Spam is gonna be all caramelized and the other side is gonna be nice and bright. Kill the heat, We're gonna melt some American cheese over the top of our sliders because no cheese is meltier. We don't need to cook the Spam on the second side very long at all, so at this point, we're just waiting for that cheese to melt. Look at how gorgeous and melty these are. Let's pop them off. We've got a nice hot pan here. We need to cut through the saltiness of this Spam even more. And pineapple is the ultimate accompaniment. So if we sear pineapple, which are already loaded with natural sugars, we're gonna get an even more candy-like sweetness. Our pineapples are all done. I'm gonna cut these in half. We've got all of our components ready. We're using Hawaiian rolls. These are sweet and soft rolls. Let's cut them in half. We've got a 12 pack here. I've been working out. So by keeping the entire bun as one, it's gonna be a lot easier for us to lay this glaze down as a single bun. You can just slather it on. Let's lay our Spams right on top of that. Boom, boom. Let's lay the pineapple slices on top of that. We've got some scallions here. We need things to accentuate and cut through the richness of it. Buns on top. I'm gonna divide them up into individual sliders. These look fantastic. They come to $1.58 a serving. What do you say we dig in? Struggle meals. It's really perfectly balanced. I mean, the tanginess and the sweet and sour balance out that salty Spam just perfectly. And it is so in your face in the best way possible. You'd never guess that such a small sandwich packs such big flavor. Today we made 3 tasty handheld masterpieces. They may not be burgers in the traditional sense, but with flavors like these, call them whatever you want. I like to call them delicious. Frankie, I want your words of wisdom. What do you think? Drum roll, please. Is a patty melt a burger or a sandwich? This is a seriously existential question, and it makes me wonder, is a burger because there's a patty? And is a sandwich because there's 2 pieces of bread? And if a patty is between 2 pieces of bread, do you have a burger or a sandwich? I don't really know. But for the record, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's a burger.